One time I did a tattoo on live TV and lost $100,000.
I do nipple reconstruction tattoos, which I love doing those. It's fun because that's the only time
so
I've given back
Yeah.
to something where it's not just artistic, it's like somewhat functional and it's repairing people beyond just aesthetics.
Probably the first time I ever tattooed my mom. I'd been tattooing for like 18 minutes. And she was like leaned over on an ottoman in my living room, and she had my little sister literally like clutched in her hands, and she was screaming bloody murder. And you would think that I was like literally like, I don't even know, like fucking branding this poor woman's back, but it was like a tiny little script on her like love handle area back here.
I've done like scars and stuff, like covering up like self-harm scars and stuff on these young girls that like obviously have been through like serious shit, and then to like help them move past that is always really fun.
The one that I remember the most was a memorial that I did of my brother on my brother.
These are two different brothers, I imagine.
Two different brothers,
Okay.
yeah. That one definitely for me because there was a lot of like personal stuff involved.
Yeah, I tattooed one lady's armpit, and it was her first tattoo, and she came to the shop without shoes because she said, I just want to feel the earth on a concrete cement. And I said, well, that's not nature, but first of all, whatever. And then it was a artichoke flower, so she could dye her hair as pink, so it looks like artichoke flower coming out from her armpit. Yeah, I will not forget about it.
And then there was that time I did Smurfette on a stripper pole, and she was dancing topless with Handy Smurf off in the foreground.
When people know like you're a gay man and they're like, oh, I can just be myself with you, that is when you get the real shit. The most memorable tattoo I've ever done is something that I don't typically do, which was a traditional style rose. Super like regular 5-petal rose on a vagina. I have not seen a vagina since I was 17, and I did not plan on seeing one ever again in my life. So when a woman came in with a full man's name and an infinity symbol all the way to her clitoris and was like, can you cover this up, gay man? I was like, yes, because I am not interested in what it's on.
Clients ask me this question all the time, but the most memorable one, I mean, I have the worst memory, so the one that I just did earlier today. That's the one I remember the best.
I did one of a Polar Seltzer can, and it says Seltzer Slut. And yeah, go get me one of those. Chris won.
I'd say mine, the first thing that popped into my head was the giant dick with rocket ball thrusters and purple and green wings on it. It was a giant pink greenie.
This is out of line. Are y'all prepared for this shit, though? He came in and he had two pictures of two guys. One was his husband and one was his lover. And he said he wanted them to look like they were kissing around his booty. So when someone else is f***ing him, they are also in on it, and it's like a foursome. So he basically wanted them to be s***ing the guy's dick that is entering his ass.
There was a guy who got Jesus Christ, which is a normal tattoo to get. You know, religious tattoos happen all the time. But riding a velociraptor. Total, like, almost full side panel. And we made that happen. On the other side, he got one of those, like, Mario ghosts, just as big. So I don't know what the hell was going on there, but I can't forget it.
Oh, I've been tattooing a forensic psychiatrist.
That guy's the best.
He's dope, and I love true crime. I mean, I feel like I don't have
So
to
cool.
necessarily tell you that. Forensic Files! I watch a lot of Law and Order.
Sweat while you listen to them.
I
talk
bet
about
that's
the
the shower where
And
fingerprints.
We have a
Oh my God!
drinking game.
We have a Forensic Files drinking game. You can look at this situation and you're like, here's somebody who listens to a lot of true crime podcasts and also needs therapy.
Sometimes you remember tattoos, sometimes you remember faces, sometimes you remember the guy that like ate a fucking cigarette. That's what I don't even remember what I did on him, but like this guy just straight up ate a cigarette. For all of you weirdos out there that I've tattooed, you guys still haven't topped that shit.
Was it a lit cigarette?
No, he just pulled it out and I was about to tell him like, hey man, you can't smoke in here, and he just shoved it in his mouth and ate it.
It's one of the snacks.
What a badass.
Yeah,
I wonder
dude.
where he's at now.
I mean, probably nowhere good.
Well, I talk to a lot of dicks, and so, I mean, that's just always like, I'm like, yes.
For me, You can say anything.
Yeah.
For me, that not memorable in a good way. She show up at the shop, said, "Look, I want this tattoo, like with the porn girl, with between the number 1 and number 2, the vagina and the anus, 3-star." And I'm younger tattoo artist and excited. Let's do this thing. 3-star. It's gonna be too quick. Man, this thing turned out 3 hours tattoo because I know I can find the position. And the owner of the shop said, "Fabio, rush, bro. I have to close the shop. My wife and my kids waiting for me."
I mean, I definitely, though, too, like, I tattoo a lot of women. So I think for me, like, I've had clients before who are like, you know, like really self-conscious about their bodies and things like that. And then I'm like, no, like I'm so open with my body. I'm always naked. I tattoo with my top off. And I think after, if they're doing like a long sitting with me or multiple sittings, in the end, they're way looser and they're like way feeling better about themselves. And once I've given like all the pep talks, you know what I mean? Like, you are a fucking goddess, bitch. You got this. I think that those are my most memorable tattoos.
I think that's why we always work together
Yeah.
really well, is because like anytime someone's like body negative or they're like, oh, I'm self-conscious, I'm like, bitch, I'm fat and got one arm. Shut up. Like, I'll take my shirt off too. Like, what's up? You
Let's
know what I
all
mean?
take our
Like,
shirts off.
everyone take your shirt off. Let's have a good time.
So I was in an expo. I won't name the city. It was Richmond. And there was an 8th floor boom boom room back in the day.
You ain't talking about 801.
But it doesn't matter.
I said it.
Yeah. And man, next thing I know, like there's like some ladies of the night and they're, you know, entertaining casually as they
There was
would.
a lightsaber involved, guys.
Yeah, and then man, I saw some things and there was some, I mean, oil rigging, I think is a good term for it.
There was plastic on the floor.
And next thing I know, like there was like a hand mount thing where like some things almost touched my face, and I got scared. And there was a dismount move, and it kicked my boy right in the old, you know, mix up. He drops, and then I black out.
My shoes got ruined.
Yeah, it was weird. I wake up because my head hits something metal when the car I'm in the trunk of hits rumble strips. And I start, you know, you have a moment where you really like reassess some things about your life when you wake up in the trunk of a moving car. So I pound on the thing and the trunk lid opens and my buddy's like, "What's up?" I go, "What the f am I in the trunk of a car for?" He goes, "You said you'd be more comfortable, so you crawled in yourself." I'm like, "Well, that kind of sounds like me." So I'm 2 hours away from Richmond at this point because I was out. And I had this tattoo on my knee of a little fox smoking a pipe with a top hat, and it's rad. And I had no idea who did it. I didn't know where it came from. And it was about 2 years before I ran into Bunny from Ohio. And he's like, "Hey man, how'd that thing heal up on your knee?" I go, "What?" He goes, "That little fox." I go, "You're the one who did it." He's like, "Man, I thought you were pretty up."
That
sucks so bad.
I tattooed his ass after the Tampa downhill. We used to have like a skateboard downhill in the parking garage.
Old school Tampa show.
It was more
Backwards,
than skateboards.
laying down.
It was like coolers on wheels. It was like chairs. It was everything we could to go down. And everyone always had scabs and stuff in the morning. And
I was in a Speedo, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like laying down. I think I went around the corner, like went under a truck
He
that was
always
parked.
used to wear bunny ears and tuxedo Speedo. That was his thing. I don't know about this new Aaron. But I tattooed right over the scar,
My ass
right
doesn't
over
look
the
as
scab.
good. It sucked so bad. That
A
was the
me-
most
a
meaningful. That was
meaningful
Mark's
tattoo.
most meaningful tattoo.
So meaningful that
That's my ass.
I just remembered that story.
In Mexico 2 years ago, when a guy came up and he wanted to do a fruit. I have a certain price, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way I keep it, you know? And I don't like doing anything that I feel like is gonna sit up here and kill a client. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm $2,500 for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me to do something small, it's kind of a disrespect. Like, I try to sit up here and push people away or get something bigger.
Yeah.
So he just kept coming at me, "Yo, Pooch, I want this fruit, I want this fruit, I want this fruit." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not charging you $2,500 for a fruit, bro. Like, I'm just not that guy." And in Mexico, bro, it's an insult. You know what I'm saying? Kept coming back, kept coming back, kept coming back. Came back Saturday again, "Yo, Pooch, like, kept." And I'm like, you know what? You wanna get it? Let's do it. Like, you're hassling, let's do it. I did the fruit. He shows his wife. She falls to her knees, she cries. Here, you know what I'm saying? She bringing me like hats, this knitted stuff, like all this stuff, boom, 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 boom. And he had a son. His son comes up and he hugs his father, whatever. And everybody comes up, they hugging me, they thanking me, giving me all this shit. And I'm like, "Yo,
Yeah.
a fruit tattoo? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?" Well, come to find out, 2 days before I did the fruit, his son's name was named after the fruit, and he passed away. He was still a baby. It still sticks with me to this day because to see his reaction, to see her cry, to give him something that I was like, "Nah, I don't want to do it, you know what I'm saying, that came out beautiful.
Yeah.
And I did this for them, and it was over the kid, and the image that he showed me was the actual fruit the kid had in his hand before he died.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of touchy things that he never told me, but then they told me afterwards. Still to this day, like I changed everything the way I price, and every tattoo I do now, I take in highly responsive. Like I'm like, okay, well, explain to me your idea. Like, explain
what's it
to me
mean?
this, because something like that I can't charge you for. I still do the tattoo, I can't charge you for that. Like I still have a heart, you know.
Whenever she's really upset about something genuine, I'm like, remember that time you lost $100,000 on live TV? It does make her feel better though, because nothing's that bad. I'm good at one thing, losing.